Hey everybody, Benji here, doing the question of the week. And we've got, how have you navigated challenges or disagreements within your extended family? Um, I don't think I guess if you included extended family, um, I don't know what they mean by that. So I like in my extended family, when I think of like me, my wife, my kids, Kit and his family, Josh and his family, Katie and her family, and mom and dad. Um, we haven't really had any disagreements that I can think of, or challenges. So it's kind of a lame question because we don't have any like, oh, Josh doesn't talk to Kit because of this or that. So we don't really have any of that. Um, we did have it with dad's family when Gary, his brother, got divorced. That I don't know if their sister Phyllis like took, no, not Phyllis, Judy, that Judy took um Sherry's side, Gary's ex-wife's side, but there was something, right? I think that's what it was. Is she kind of must have said like, Gary, I think you're to blame for some of this or something. I don't know. Nope, I don't really know. All I know is that it was a mess. Like Gary still won't talk to Judy. Phyllis won't talk to Judy. My dad, Greg, is the only one that will still talk to Judy. And the whole thing's kind of sad. It made my grandma really sad, so it made their mom really sad that they weren't speaking. Like, I think the only time they were together and they still didn't speak was, I forget, it must have been grandpa's funeral. And yeah, I think it just made grandma sad, which I think, yeah, it is sad and it is stupid. Like, I mean, Gary's like my favorite uncle in the world, and I would still tell him, and I've told him before, like, what are you doing? Like, who, just get over it. Like, oh, your sister, said something you didn't like 30 years ago. Who freaking cares? I mean, unless there's more to it than they're telling us, but I don't think there is. I think Dad would say, because he thinks it's stupid too. He's like, oh, they're being dumb. Um, but Dad, Phyllis, and Gary still talk all the time. It's just Judy's kind of been left out in the cold. But that just seems weird to me. I mean, I can't imagine if, I don't know, if Katie would have said, I think it was your fault that you and Haley got divorced, I'd be like, what do you know? It was our relationship. How would you know? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, maybe I'd be upset with her for an hour or a day, maybe a week. But eventually I'd be like, why'd you say that? That's weird. And she'd be like, I don't know. It's just what I thought. I probably shouldn't have said it. I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't have. And you move on. I can't imagine like, holding a grudge against your sibling for something you said against your ex-wife, whom has been dead for, I have no idea, 10 or 15 plus years. I mean, it's not like Sherry's been in anybody's life. Yeah, that whole thing was weird. So I hope we never have to go through that. I can't imagine that we would, but you know, um, I think, okay, here's a better way that I'm gonna answer this question, which is, how have you navigated challenges and disagreements? It'd be like, how do I see myself navigating that? I see myself navigating it by saying that I'm gonna always stick by family, right? Like if Katie did something wrong to Justin, I'd be like, man, that sucks, but that's my sister, and yeah, I stick by her. I mean, unless she did something horrible. Hey, Katie murdered somebody. Well, then maybe I might go, hey, yeah, I can't stand by her anymore. Yeah, she killed somebody. But, barring that it's typical, like, oh, somebody said something wrong. And, I would typically just lean towards my family. But I think I would do whatever would make mom and dad happiest. And mom kind of, how she is with some of her dementia stuff. It would just fall to dad. Like, hey, if this part makes dad happy, then we'll just go with it with dad stuff. Um, so yeah, that's what we'll do. But so luckily, knock on wood, we haven't had any challenges or any big disagreements in our family. So everybody gets together and gets along, and it's fine. So yeah, kind of a ho hum question this week because we don't really have any issues, and everybody kind of gets along. Now, who knows? It might happen when, maybe there'll be something with mom or dad, as people get older and get sick, and should somebody get put into a home, should they not? I mean, God forbid, like somebody gets really, really sick and there's a decision to pull the plug on somebody. I mean, it could be any of us, but okay, maybe that gets heated, but you hope that everybody comes together, makes a decision together, and does what's best, for that person. But hopefully cooler heads prevail. I think it probably comes down to dad. He's so level-headed. He's so the easygoing one, right? Even in his family's bickering, he's still the one that talks to everybody, right? So he's the peacemaker, and everybody always likes dad. So, and maybe that's how he's raised us, and so maybe that's made us, all get along. So, I mean, it's not like we have the, secret sauce of families that still talk and get along. I think most families do. It's probably weirder if you're like, oh yeah, these siblings don't speak. I remember thinking, as a side note, that I worked for that Hinkle Hardscape, that Zach Hinkle guy for a while, 10 years ago, I guess, 10 or 11 years ago. And one day he told me, after like being there 6 months or something, like, oh yeah, I used to run this business with my brother. I was like, oh, well, what's he doing now? Did he move on, do something else? He's like, yeah, I don't know. We don't talk. And I was like, and he didn't hardly say anything about it. He was like, yeah, didn't like to talk about it. And I was just like, oh. And I just remember thinking like, man, that is a real red flag when you're like, yeah, he used to run this with me and now we don't even speak. I'm like, even if Kit and I were running Kansas City Hardscapes and we disagreed so much that something had to happen, you'd be like, yeah, I'm not going to not talk to Kit. If it's like, hey, the business sucks, or you suck, you got to find something. I mean, we kind of went through it a little bit, very tiny, with Josh, where we're like, hey man, this thing's just getting too small and we got to let you go. And you let him go, and that's just what you do. It's not, yeah, it wasn't anything, nefarious. It wasn't like Josh was stealing or we're being evil tyrants. Like, the business was struggling and we were taking out loans to cover payroll and things that happen in the course of a business. And you have to let people go. It doesn't mean that you like never speak to them again. So, stupid little story, but all right, that's all I got. We'll see you guys. Bye.